actually took a break from investing to get more into helping other people buy and sell their homes.
That's good.
So I really didn't expect to be doing this much as a realtor, you know, but it feels like this is what I was called to do.
Listen, y'all know I'm only bringing really super dope professionals up here to talk with them and talk through, you know, how we just strategy, theories when it comes down to marketing yourself, branding yourself. Y'all know I've been in that real estate vein lately, you know. And today we have Miss Kiara Reeves with us. She's really, let me tell you why she extra dope, because she's from the 757. I don't even think they know about that real quick. They don't even know about that. But she's from Hampton, Virginia.
Yes.
I'm from Newport News. They literally like one city.
Neighbors.
They right there in the same area. But we're both here in Florida. You've been in the real estate industry for how long now here in Florida?
I'm going on 2 years.
Okay. Are you enjoying it?
I love it so much. And it's funny because now I'm a realtor. I never saw myself being a realtor when I started out. I actually started flipping houses, and I did my first house flip last February for my birthday. I bought my first house flip.
Was that here in Jacksonville?
On the west side around Normandy area. So I did that all by myself pretty much. And
that's really dope. How was that? How was it getting, so you purchased the house and then you had to sell it? How was it? How difficult or easy was it to get the seller? With the buyer.
Honestly, so I kept it as a buy and hold. And the thing was, at the time, the market had did a slight decline, and my numbers weren't where I thought they would be.
Okay.
It was more so, it was a really difficult experience for me. It was something I'd never done before, but you know the saying where they're like, do it scared, do it like,
however,
you know. I just was like, I have to do this. It's something that is a real goal of mine. So I did so much research, I put so much into it, and I really was able to fall in love with this thing no matter how difficult it was.
Wow. And I always like to identify life lessons on there, because even after the fact, you know, a lot of people will still try to front like that was easy, but you still respect the fact that it was difficult, but you seen it through. Which to me, principles, that's life principle. Like
everything is hard. You got to choose which thing that you want to be hard at.
Exactly.
Like, would you rather be poor? Being poor is hard.
Exactly.
You know? So.
Exactly. That's dope. That's really dope. And so that got you into the real estate industry.
Yes. So in the beginning, I didn't have a mentor, and I would watch YouTube videos, read, and just do things on my own to
YouTube
kind of
University,
develop. So it was more so I was yearning for that relationship with the mentor to where I could have someone to guide me along the way, just to vent to when I'm going through something and to relate to me in that space that I think a lot of things I went through could have been avoided had I had a mentor. But it was after that point that I said, you know what? I need to get a mentor. So I did. My mentor told me, like, you know, you leaving so much money and opportunities on the table without having your real estate license. And I said, you know, I never thought about that. Like, what exactly?
So you were
gonna
stay more in the pick up, flip. You was gonna stay in that.
Yeah, I just saw myself as a real estate investor. I'm like, why I need a license for? And she said, well, you know, you'll have access to the properties. You'll be able to become an investor. But also, you'll be on the other side of things. You'll be able to access all the resources. And you'll be able to help other investors like you, that look like you, that want to act on the same level as you in that space. So I said, that's a good point. Like, you know. So I ended up getting my license and everything. And after that, I actually took a break from investing to get more into helping other people buy and sell their homes.
That's good.
So I really didn't expect to be doing this much as a realtor, you know, but it feels like this is what I was called to do.
Yeah, and I really like that because it's like, and I can relate to that because even on my entrepreneurship journey, like I came in, I've always been doing. It's a few things that were constant when it comes down to working with the camera, so photos, videos. I worked corporate marketing for years, so marketing and branding. But I came in the game as like, a photo video studio. But from being in that space, it like opened up other doors and other areas that I didn't know I was gonna be going down. But as I lived within, and I think that's really important because it boils down to when you're walking within your purpose. Like when you're walking within your purpose, it's no like clean cut dry path. Like,
and you know, it's funny you say that because when I started my house flip last year, I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go in. This gonna take about 30 days to do.
That's what they tell you.
I'm gonna sell this house. I'm gonna move
Make that
on
money,
to the next
yeah.
one. You know, but people watch HGTV. They're looking at these videos and they forget. They don't know what's going on behind the camera. They don't really know the difficulties, the hardships, the stress and the tears and the all the stuff that really goes into making these things happen. So when you go through that and it doesn't go as planned, you're like, what do I do now? Like, do you give up? And it's all for nothing. So
yeah,
you really have to push through no matter what it takes.
And don't be scared to open those doors, like those other doors, because you could have, once you were presented with the idea of getting your license, you had a decision to make at that point. You could have decided that's not for me and kept on that direction, or you could have embraced that opportunity, which you did. And it takes you in another direction, but in the direction that you're going from you getting that license, you just said that you feel like you're walking within your purpose still, so that's always a beautiful thing. That's really, really dope. Let me ask you this. From being a real estate agent, when it comes down to, because I know it's a people's industry. You want, the same way that a store wants customers, you need clients, that need your services, that have a problem that you can solve. What would you say your number one roadblock would be when it comes down to marketing yourself or putting yourself out there to get more exposure?
I would say one of my difficulties are just showing people that I could be of service to you better than the next person. And not to say that I'm in competition with anybody, because there's hundreds of houses. There's enough, for everybody to do. But I hear so many stories of people being treated wrong, or their realtor not doing the best that they can for them, or not informing them on things that are, should be a given for them. So I just feel that with me having such a passion for what I do, I would want you to have the best experience, because that's what I would want somebody to do for me. Like, it just makes a difference when you have a good experience, because think about it. You go to a restaurant, everything is good and smooth. Your food comes out hot. Your waitress is thorough. They're steadily checking on you. You're like super impressed.
It's a good experience.
Yeah, I want to go back to that restaurant, and I want people to say the same thing about me. Like, I bought this house back in such and such. I had the best realtor ever. She communicated. She kept us informed. She made sure we were okay. Like, she gave us the best closing gift. All those things tie into the experience. So I just want people to know, like, I can be there for you in ways that I know other people can't.
That's perfect. That's you literally summed up what it is to properly brand yourself. Because a lot of times we get stuck on, or we spend a lot of times with how our logo looks, or how, what colors identify us, or what our catchphrase is, when literally branding is just that. Like, what experience did you give to a person that will make them want to advocate for you? And sometimes we get caught up in other things. And I know when it comes down to a person to person industry like a real estate agent, a realtor has to deal with, that experience that you leave on that one person. They say that one bad review adds onto 1,000 people.
Because think about their reach in
Mm-hmm.
that moment.
Mm-hmm.
They tell someone, the other person tells somebody else, and it just keeps going on and on. You really don't know who
Mm-hmm.
someone knows.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
like one bad review could definitely ruin
Mm-hmm.
your just your view, like what you look like.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's good. That's good. So you pride yourself on giving the best experience, which I think that's excellent. So now it boils down to, how do I communicate that? Like how do I let you know? Like you said, there's no competition. So I'm not competing against. And honestly, a lot of times we like to say that our competition is the next person that's doing what we're doing, but literally the biggest competitor that we have to, any business, any brand has to deal with, is the competition of a person either choosing you or not doing nothing. That's literally that's like 80% of what people are gonna do. They're gonna either choose you or not do anything at all, versus go with the next competitor that we think is our peer that may be doing what we're doing as well. So it's like, okay, how do I communicate the message of, I'm giving you a different experience than what your friend told you they dealt with that other realtor, you know? And I think that really boils down to messaging. Like, when I first started my studio, I literally gave the same message. I had the same, and what I mean by messaging is when you may put copy on a beautiful image that you have, or you may add a post copy to a nice video that you're putting out. Like, that copy, that text tells your story. We can either tell them 100 different stories, or we can tell them one story, you know? Even if your content, if everything on your content, and the thing about, I like having conversations with you because we've worked enough for me to understand your messaging, and you literally, every time you drive home, the message of, I pick up the phone, I'm answering your emails.
And a lot of people don't. They really don't. Like, how are you trying to sell a house, or how are you trying to gain business, or how are you trying to follow through with, providing the service if I can't even talk to you? So
and that's even, I think it's a whole small business or business sector, because even we're in two totally different industries, and I'll get people that email me back like, thank you for responding.
Just responding, yeah.
And I'd be like, what?
Like, that's not common.
Yep. So, but that's all part of just that brand experience. And when you're dealing with, the real estate industry, just that whole people to people, to me, that speaks volumes. Because you can have a business like, let's say a retail store, they want to be personable, I'm sure, because they want everybody to feel like they're getting that like undervalued attention. Yeah. But when it comes down to real estate, the way it differs is that y'all purchases might be $250,000.
So how do you cater to, this person with this high-end purchase the same way you would cater to somebody
buying a
making
$20 shirt?
Yeah.
That's big. That's big. Should they both get the same type of attention?
Yes, because no matter what, they are a client of yours, and you should be able to service anybody. No one should have like differential treatment, no matter how much money they have. They're still, trying to get your services. And if you offer the best services, it like I said, it shouldn't differ.
It shouldn't. And I think that too, that also kind of loops around to, what type of client do you want to deal with? What type of client are you attracting? I took a seminar, and the reason I say that, I'm always consuming. Like, I'm a student of the game. Like, I'm consuming information all the time. And I just took a workshop seminar but they were talking about how a lot of businesses fail because the client that they're trying to reach out to, the audience base of that client doesn't bring in enough income so that their business can even excel, right? And not to leave anyone or anything out, but let's make it like practical. You got people who shop at Walmart. You got people who shop at Target.
Yeah.
You know, like it's two different. And what Walmart usually saying on their messaging, low prices, right? I don't see Target say anything about no low prices because they want a particular set of people. And I know me and you had the conversation before. I was like, why do most real estate agents, like most of the agents I know, is like first time home buyers. Well, a lot of times the first time home buyers, you gotta coach them on credit, you gotta help them save money, help them budget their money.
They're already scared because they've never done this before, so it's a whole different type of experience. And I feel like it just comes with patience and knowing like who your audience is. You have to go through those times of, okay, I helped the first time home buyer before. What are the things that they need? What are the things that they're looking for, or that you can kind of soothe those feelings inside of the nervousness and the stress of providing all the documents the lender is asking for. And everything just feels so like ramped up. A lot of people feel that way because I think anytime you do something for the first time, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
So I just like to, mitigate all those things and provide everything up front. Like, for example, I have a friend purchasing a house now, and they're not using me as a realtor, but, I still want to be able to provide the information to them and everything, because as a friend, I have the resources. No matter where you go, I want to make sure I'm there for you every step of the way. But I just feel that other people, they kind of leave the ball in their client's court. Like, hey, make sure you find an inspector, or hey, make sure you get this done. Instead of saying, hey, I have an inspector, I have this. Like, you don't even have to go out and call these people because I got everything for you,
Wow.
And just, me being an investor first, it really helped me to see from the eyes of the client and what people may need and make those connections. So where, a home buyer that wants to make renovations as soon as they move in, or a home buyer that's wanting to get their home inspected. Like, I have like a whole pipeline
list of resources
just for them to use.
And even just taking away that element, that's what I'm saying, that your branding experience for them. And a lot of times you wouldn't even, and I don't know if a study or a test is being put out like this, like you wouldn't, like how would you be able to, I'm sure that you would see more success if we had to weigh out a realtor who had a beautiful website, beautiful pictures, professional logos, right? But didn't give the client the resources, the experience that you give them. So you have a realtor on this hand who doesn't have a website, doesn't have a logo. They may just word of mouth, but that type of experience that you're giving them, where it's like, and think about even just taking the pressure off. You need to get an inspector. Here's a few inspectors for you. Here's their websites. Check them out. Let me know who you like best, and I'll connect it for you. Like just that much pressure taken off of that person, because let's be honest, we're in a point right now where experience is everything. The experience you provide is everything, because I can easily go online and talk about you, like easily, So we have more access to our clients having a voice about the experience that they have with us. So why not give them that full experience, which is also investing into the branding of our business as well too.
Yeah, I just feel that a lot of times people, they forget like their purpose. And so ultimately, I love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
And anything I do, I'm going to provide 100%. Like, I put my all into anything I do. So there's no way that I'm going to say, I'm going to provide all these things and then I don't follow through. But another thing is that people get into the business, and I was thinking about what you said, far as someone providing the service, and they have all these websites and fancy things and stuff. But that's without me knowing you. Once I get to know you and you don't answer the phone and stuff, if I hear by word of mouth that this is the best realtor, blah, 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 I'm going to go with them. And I think about, the history of real estate and how far it's come, because back in the day, they didn't have these fancy logos and all this marketing material and websites and technology just to advance your career. But if you are a good realtor and you're a good person and you just bring that value to them on top of having, the branding, the website, all those things to tie in together, of course it's a no-brainer to use that person.
And that right there is your top earners. That's your top earners in the industry. They're able to have that layer of branding as well as experience, because like I said, I just think that's something that not just real estate industry, but businesses in general, they neglect that part of it. But yeah, I think even from us working and building certain things out, I fully understand, like, okay, what do we need to say to everybody to help them understand what you have to offer versus what they'll have to deal with on other people's plate, right? And ask yourself the same thing, when it comes down to, they call it your differential advantage or your value proposition. What separates you from others within your industry? Or not even separates you. Let's because that right there brings comparison to me. What do you bring to the table that will benefit the person on the other side of the table, right? And if we think about that, everything will be golden.
It really will.
Everything. Hey, but it was a pleasure talking with you.
Man, I'm just really excited because I think, a lot of people don't know the behind the scenes and all the effort and whatnot that goes into doing this. And it just makes me feel good inside that people like us can connect and provide that insight.
That's dope.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. That's our 757 in the house right now, but I appreciate it.
Look.